Each year, this is one of the things that we really enjoy doing, is the opportunity to recognize outstanding leadership and outstanding projects on environmental stewardship in Larimer County. And this is our 19th year of doing, not mine, but it's the county's 19th year of doing Environmental Stewardship Awards. And since 1995, we have presented 66 awards. And this afternoon, we will add 5 more awards to that honored ranks. And each time we do this, we receive a lot of very detailed, inspirational, very interesting nomination reports of activities throughout our county, and it is an extremely difficult job to narrow those down to the winners each year. And this year we've narrowed down the many applicants that were received, which were all very good and all very worthy applicants, to 5 which were especially outstanding, and we're going to honor those folks here and present them an award and give them a chance to tell us a little bit about their project this afternoon. So I'm going to start off with the first winner is Sarah Bayer, and Sarah won an award this year for her leadership and guidance on the Hyde Park Fire Research and Recovery Project. And Sarah is a high school teacher at Polaris Expeditionary Learning School in Fort Collins, and her class is studying fire ecology and burned area restoration. And the project they did involves long-term monitoring of fire effects in the Mariah Tree Farm in Redstone Canyon, which was heavily impacted by the Hyde Park fire. And her students also conducted a restoration project on the property in partnership with the National Natural Resource Conservation Service, the Colorado State Forest Service, and the Larimer County Weed District. And one of the things they did was set up remote cameras that monitored the appearance and the return of wildlife to the area, in the burn area. And the students' field work was also augmented with a classroom study which included professional mentors from Colorado State University. So the result was a legitimate research project carried out at the high school level, which is pretty cool for high school students. And planning and organizing that school year-long project obviously took a great deal of dedication and work, and Sarah is an exceptional teacher who provides the kind of guidance and caring that is needed to motivate students to believe in themselves and their abilities. So congratulations, Sarah. Would you tell us a little bit about your project? Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I'll just be quick. Our project is actually still going, and you can find out more on Vimeo. We have a Vimeo channel if you just research Hyde Park Fire Research and Recovery Project. And this is great because although we did this with our biology program, we teach biology every other year, we're continuing it with my earth science class as well this year, and are really excited we're going to try to have this kind of be our longitudinal study at school, where kids in high school are actually participating in research. Match what people do at the university level with what is done at high school, and really pushing kids to think kind of globally in terms of not only what they're doing with science, but providing opportunities for them to do service and service learning. We're super, super thankful, and you know, I couldn't do this obviously without my students, and students being motivated. Sometimes motivating high school students is an interesting challenge, but this was not a problem for them because they really enjoyed doing it and being a part of the community. It also wouldn't be possible without our funders because, you know, we need that financial support. So I just want to give a quick thank you to the Poudre School District Community Foundation. It was a SPY grant that gave us the money to do this, as well as giving a thank you to Youth Service America. We get funding from them every year and apply for a grant, and they've been very generous to us in terms of training, in terms of financial support, and then also thanking David Niels and the International Telementoring Program. We're not working with him this year, but he was certainly a big part of that. He receives his funding through HP. So not only was this an effort through school, but also a lot of community partners coming together to make this happen, and we're really, really thankful that we can continue the project. In fact, I have a student who went up there just a week ago to check the cameras and found just neat things happening in the burn area. In fact, things probably that, you know, we're seeing a return and a surgence of turkey population, which really wasn't there before. So there's some really interesting ecological things that are happening, and please visit the website and check it out. And we're just happy to push kids thinking and doing real work and real science in the community. So I just want to thank everyone. Thank you very much.
You know, one of the challenges for me personally is I'm aware of or know so many of these. Sarah is a teacher for 2 of my kids in high school, so it's kind of like, well, I could do this one, could do the next one, and So the next one's actually kind of fun because this one ties to my learning as a new commissioner. And one of the things that I remember saying very early on as a county commissioner is I'm a city boy with an ag district and I have a lot to learn. And so it's not this individual, but his dad kind of helped. But this individual, Troy Seaworth, had done a lot for his leadership and implementing and demonstrating conservation practices of over, put my glasses on so I can read this right, 1,000 acres of irrigated cropland north of Wellington. The Seaworths have been just phenomenal up there. Those practices include a change from conventional moldboard plowing to strip tillage, which leaves more crop residue on the soil surface, thus reducing erosion. Did that make sense to anybody besides the Seaworths? He can explain that to us. The practice also allows Mr. Seaworth to reduce fuel, irrigation, water, nutrient, and pesticide input. Now that does make sense. Other practices include the use of center pivot irrigation technology combined with GPS, soil mapping, and soil moisture monitors for precise irrigation control. In addition to these innovative practices, Mr. Seaworth has been a leader in holding field days to discuss and demonstrate his operation with other farmers from around the region. Those field days have also included USDA officials, Growers Association, tillage manufacturers, and land-grant university extension agents and researchers. Troy Seaworth has demonstrated that individual commitment to land stewardship combined with technical know-how and a willingness to communicate with others has the potential to enhance environmental stewardship on an important agricultural land. So congratulations again, Troy. Why don't you come tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
I don't know who typed that up, but they put it better than I probably could. So, but no, ever since I came back from college, in '97, I guess, so it's been a while. But essentially what we've been doing since I came back is we're trying to do more with less. So we're farming more acres, but less trips across the field. As he mentioned, we used to do moldboard plowing. So it's about 5-6 trips across the field to prepare a crop. Now we're doing 1 to 2 trips across the field to prepare a crop. We went from using about 2.5 to 3 acre foot of water to produce an acre of corn to 1 acre foot of water. So we've decreased our water use, we're decreasing our fuel use, we're more efficient with our fertilizer, and as he mentioned, we use GPS, which makes us more efficient. There's no overlap with our equipment, and with our spraying, there's no overlap. So it's a lot more efficient way of doing things, and that's just kind of that's kind of my goal is we just do more with less and just be more efficient. And with that, you're better stewards of the land because we don't have as much erosion from wind or water. Anyway, that's kind of the gist of it. So appreciate it.
All right.
Our next recipient is Gallegos Sanitation, Inc. Gallegos Sanitation, Inc. Receives an Environmental Stewardship Award for going above and beyond the usual business models to support sustainable practices in the area of solid waste management by creating their Gallegos Sustainable Innovations program within their company. This program provides initiatives such as full-service yard waste management and consultation to businesses on recycling and waste diversion opportunities. GSI has a dedicated staff member that can visit area schools and educate on recycling, composting, and waste diversion. They also assist with and sometimes sponsor local events aimed at making them zero or low waste events. Through these efforts, Gallegos Sustainable Innovations demonstrates that environmental stewardship in the waste management industry sometimes involves activities that might be seen as counter to the traditional role of collecting solid waste from customers. Seen in a larger context, it is clear that these sustainable practices are a benefit to the company and the community they serve. Congratulations, Mr. Glorioso. A few words.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of ownership, management, and staff, we're extremely proud to receive this award. We've been collecting residential curbside recycling for almost 20 years now. Approximately 5 years ago, we kind of took that to another level. As Commissioner Donnelly had said, we now have a staff of 5 people that educate, produce marketing materials. We have LEED certified or accredited people to consult with contractors. We've taken it now to the commercial level, and I think we're doing a very, very good job as we learn as we go along. We have electronics recycling. We are also a drop-off center at our facility. So we keep doing more and more because that's basically what the market is bearing. We're not trash haulers anymore. We're commodity haulers. And that's been going on for about 3, 5, 7 years, and we're going to continue to do that. In the past, most haulers were very reactive to what the people wanted. We've taken more of a proactive approach, and we want to try and be a step ahead of everyone and investigate the opportunities, the markets that are available to us. So watch for us to continue to grow in that area. We've got a lot going on in northern Colorado. We're especially proud to be a leader in northern Colorado. So keep your eyes on us. We're going to be out there for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, in past years, we've talked about the Poudre Wilderness Volunteers, and today we're presenting an award to James Shackley. James, come on up. And James is a leader on the Weed Crew, and he was nominated by that organization for his dedication and effectiveness, what I'm going to tell you a little bit about. His education about weeds and the methods for their control began on his own property in Risk Canyon. He brought that knowledge and persistence to Poudre Wilderness Volunteers in 2006. What the Weed Crew does is they work to prevent the spread of invasive and noxious weeds on hiking trails in U.S. Forest Service lands and wilderness areas in the Poudre and Big Thompson Canyons and Red Feather Lakes area. Each year, Jim Shackley provides training to new and returning members on the identification and control of selected weed species. He also provides an annual 3-hour class open to the public about noxious weeds that occur in the county. Class attendees are then asked to sign up for one weed pulling event in return for attending the class. In the 5 years that the Weed Crew has been actively pulling musk thistle at the North Fork Trailhead in Glen Haven, the density of weeds has been reduced from the predominant species to an occasional plant. So excellent results from the result of his work. Jim Shackley's efforts show that a knowledgeable approach combined with commitment and energy can benefit our public lands and educate many people along the way. Congratulations, James, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to accept this award on behalf of approximately 100 different members of Poudre Wilderness Volunteers who since 2007 have participated in Weed Crew events ranging from plant and weed identification and treatment training through actual participation in weed pulls and various public outreach opportunities that the Weed Crew has pursued to try to inform the public about noxious weeds and the ecological and environmental effects they wreak on native plant and animal ecosystems. I also want to acknowledge the financial support of Larimer County in the form of its small grant program for a number of years for Poudre Wilderness Volunteer Weed Crew activities. And I'd like to point out that we're successful in part because of kind of a unique alignment of the stars in the sense that the land or range management and weed specialist in the Canyon Lakes Ranger District has been very supportive and had a very active program for both monitoring and treating weeds. She's Kim Oberle. Larimer County has a fantastic land steward in the form of Tim D'Amato, who's in charge of the county's weed program. And finally, Jim Stevenson at Colorado Department of Transportation has been very enthusiastic about joining this 4-part partnership to treat noxious weeds along roads, highways, trails, and backcountry areas. And they're unlike a lot of intergovernmental efforts where turf and this is my business or this is your problem are often the phrases heard. All 4 of these agencies, including our volunteer group, have joined into a very cooperative and complementary attempt to educate the public, treat the weeds, and protect the land and crops in the Larimer County area. Our program started in 2007, and since then we've probably donated about 5,000 volunteer hours to weed pulls and weed training. We've seen significant decreases in the abundance of certain weed species at a variety of locations where we've been active. We've also found that for some other weed species, we see little or no effect of our activities, and whether that will change as we deplete the seed bank in the soil year after year of pulling weeds, I don't know. But I will tell you one thing, the High Park fire, which affected many of the areas which we had been treating for weeds, wreaked havoc with our success trajectory, in the sense that weed abundances dramatically increased in the year after the fire. And so we haven't yet run out of things to do, but we also haven't run out of enthusiasm to try to do them. And so anyway, that's a little bit about the Poudre Wilderness Volunteers Weed Crew. And on behalf of those 100+ participants, I accept this award for them.
So our last award goes to Richard Eversole? Eversole, come on up, Richard. So Richard Eversole, for his long-term efforts at forest and wildlife habitat improvement, are you ready for this? On his 165 acres of forested land in the Cherokee Park area in northern Larimer County. Working in cooperation with the Colorado State Forestry Farm Program and the Colorado Division of Wildlife, Northern Larimer County Habitat Program, sorry, it's all one word, should be anyway. Mr. Eversole has dedicated much of his time to labor-intensive activities such as removing mistletoe. I thought people wanted more mistletoe. Just at Christmas and not in their trees. Okay. Removing mistletoe and pine beetle-infested trees, weed control, and wildlife habitat restoration. The reviewers felt that this nomination described an unusual level of commitment and work for such a large property. It shows that land stewardship on forested property impacted by issues such as pine beetle requires considerable commitment, knowledge, and energy. The Environmental Stewardship Award recognizes those efforts and the example they set for other landowners. So thanks again, Richard. Congratulations. Why don't you come tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Our family owns 165 acres up on the Cherokee Park Road. Our property line, north property line, is the state line in Wyoming. So we have to deal with those people in that weather and wind, but they're good people. When we got that, I originally got a 60-acre parcel, and then I added 3 more 35s to it, and it's all contiguous and has a lot of forestry and a lot of diversity in trees and wildlife, a lot of elk, moose, deer, bear, bobcat, so forth. So anyway, we've spent our time doing things like taking down old rusty fences that were still left by ranchers years ago, closing off roads that were in the property because they erode a lot, cut down a lot of trees, probably 1,000, maybe 2,000 trees, stack, slash, burn it, sell it, give it away, whatever. If you need free firewood, come see me. We've got thousands of trees yet that are dying. It's one of the worst hit areas in the state of Colorado for pine beetles right now. Yeah, I'm sure you gentlemen know that. So we've done all that. We've done everything like, we have 4 springs on the property. We keep those clean and moss-free. Remove the barbed wire. My dear wife helped me take down probably a mile of barbed wire, rusty stuff, back in the woods, roll it up, get it out. That was a lot of work. Still continuing that. The county's been very, very helpful. The County Weed District is just an incredible group. They've come up and assessed the area, come up and helped. And then I took them back to the Forest Service, which I'm contiguous with, and I showed them where I used to have an old cabin on Forest Service land and showed them all the yellow toad flax. They were almost giddy. It was huge. It's a huge area of it. And so they've now come back 2 years in a row, multiple times, to spray thistle and yellow toad flax, butternut eggs they call it more commonly. It's a very invasive weed. So they've been very helpful. The county also was involved with the habitat program, which was managed really by the Division of Wildlife at that time, now the CPW. And that was a wonderful experience. It taught me a lot. I'm a CPA by trade, so what I know about botany or biology or any of the other things, you could fit on the head of a pin. So I needed all these people. The Natural Resource Conservation Service came up and assessed it. The Weed District assessed it. The State Forest Service has just been incredible. Mike Hughes is the guy I work with, and some of you may know him, and he's just been a wonderful mentor. They come in and assess your property, tell you what the stocking level should be, give you ideas on habitat, leave some trees for perching, wind breaks, things like that. So a lot of people helped, and I take this on behalf of them as well as myself. So thank you.
That's our awards for this year. We all want to thank you for coming and supporting and recognizing our award recipients.